Hello, my friends. Jerry Rosa here in the Rosa String Works Workshop. And just when you thought it was safe, Tim came back.
Oh, yeah.
And his lovely wife, Joan, back there.
Can't get rid of me.
Say hi, Joan. And I tried to talk Joan into getting a microphone and singing a little bit, but she said, nope, that ain't happening. We're going to do a little picking and grinning. First thing, just a couple little quick things. My granddaughter, Rebecca, JR's son who has the Homestead Horsemanship. Well, Rebecca's apparently started her own YouTube channel. It's called Ranching with Rebecca. So go out there and search on Ranching with Rebecca. I just found out about it just moments before we went live, so I didn't have time to put a link in there. I'll try to remember to come back and put a link into it later. But search out there on YouTube for Ranching with Rebecca. And I do have a little short video clip. I think I'll just go ahead and let that get out of the way here, and then we'll get into the rest of this stuff. Lots of bird sounds out here this morning. Let's see what the martins do when I walk over. They'll probably all take off. See a bunch of them. They're just everywhere. Wonder how many we got. I would say in the neighborhood of 30 or more. Yeah, there's a bunch of them. It won't be long, they'll be taken off. You can probably hear them. They're not too afraid. You can see they're coming back in and landing. That wire that goes between those poles, I just put that wire there specifically for the martins. Anyway, let's go take a look at the water wheel. Looks like Sue bought a couple of $100 more worth of this rock, and that's not going to go very far. Yeah, we're going to need 3 or 4 more times that. It's going to be well over $1,000 worth of rock here by the time she's done. Pretty sad. Anyway, look at the water wheel. You can start to get a little bit of a sense of what the house is going to look like. Now keep in mind, these boards are way tall. They haven't been cut off yet. So they're going to be cut off at about the level of those cross boards. So it's going to look different, obviously. I just left them run wild because I don't know where I want to cut them off yet. Even with all the rain we've had, it didn't really increase the water flow here very much. So it was a light rain, a good steady rain for a day or two there. So it's a good rain, but it didn't really increase the water flow all that much. Beautiful morning, nice and cool and very dry feeling. It doesn't feel real humid, which is real nice. Of course, it's going to change as the sun comes up and gets pretty warm. Looks like something has broken off some of these green plants and thrown them in there. That's probably something I ought to get out of there because it's just going to go down and clog the water wheel. Yeah, I don't know. Stuff happens around here. And you can still see water's coming out of this area here, coming out of this area here, and going in the pipe. We've got guests at the rental retreat. It stays, I wouldn't say stays full, but it's occupied more than you would expect. Just a beautiful morning. We've taken a poll here while you were watching that video, and we've decided that it was Bigfoot that broke off those plants. He eats that like celery.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, I'm not much of a Bigfoot believer, unfortunately. Compared to my son, let's say it that way. Let's see, moving on. We have a lesson tonight on the mandolin. I've gone back through my lesson from Friday. I watched the whole thing, and I took a few notes. actually felt it was fairly clear. Again, I know what I'm talking about, though. So, I know what I meant. And so I don't know if it was clear to everyone else. But if you do have any questions about anything that we've covered so far, be sure to bring those questions tonight, because tonight will be the time to cover that. And then we're going to play several songs this evening, quite a few songs that will demonstrate the different kinds of patterns I've been talking about, the different things in some of the rules in the Nashville number system. So we're going to talk about all those things and demonstrate them and show them in detail. It'll be about an hour-long lesson again, I would think. And then, I don't know if we'll go the full hour with the lesson, but we'll at least be an hour long, I'm sure. And it might even go a little longer than that with the questions and answers. Let's see. I thought I'd mention something. I've been getting feedback about the YouTube's copyright policy, and people are saying, well, you can play the old songs. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. I'm seriously telling you, it doesn't matter. Somebody out, it's a gimmick, and somebody in the world has claimed every song out there just about. Like in our last several live shows, there'll be copyright hits that said, so-and-so in South America has claimed this song, and so-and-so in, Australia owns the rights to this song. And, it's like, there's no way, you know what I mean? And like they've got Spanish names attached to the song, and it's just, give me a break. It's just not right. We know it's not right. So the point is, you can't really hardly do any song that you don't get a copyright strike on. There's a few that you can do that, nobody's thought of. Like a lot of the bluegrass, lesser-known bluegrass tunes, people don't know about them, so they don't copyright or don't claim the copyright to those. But it's a gimmick. It's messed up big time, and I don't see it getting fixed anytime soon. So that's why I'm trying to do my own songs when I can. Today, we're not going to worry about it too much on this vlog, and we're not going to worry about it this evening. So we'll play other songs this evening and just more or less to demonstrate the different concepts and the ideas that I've been talking about. Let's see. I released the fuel gauge video yesterday, and that took me almost all day to get that video out. And the sad part is nobody's watching it, so it's just the way it is. We've got a couple of live songs we're going to do for you this morning, and we'll see how that works. I'm going to start off with just a little two-chord song that we'll use to demonstrate two-chord songs this evening, possibly. But this is just going to be D and A. So in other words, D is your one chord, or is your number one, and your A would be your number 5. So when you have a two-chord song, one of the Nashville number system rules that I wrote down is that you generally drop your 4. You don't have a 4 whenever you have a two-chord song. It's almost always 1 and 5. So anyway, this will demonstrate that. It's called Did Anybody Take Her Picture? And sorry, Tim, I got to tell one more story.
Go ahead.
I wrote this song because of a true life event. We played a show in Wentzville, Missouri, and about 1 month after we played that show, I got a phone call, and the man says, hey, I've got an unusual request. We were there, at your show in Wentzville, and we loved it. It was a great show. Everybody seemed to be having a good time and all that, and he said, my wife and I just enjoyed the heck out of it. He says, I'm just wondering, did anybody take any pictures of the audience that night? I would love to have a picture. And I said, well, I don't know. I tried to get more specific, like was there something specific in the audience? He didn't want to talk about it, you could tell. Finally, I pinned him down, and he says, well, I didn't want to tell you this. I didn't want to burden you with it. But he says, on the way home that night, my wife was killed in a car wreck. And he said, in fact, I just got out of the hospital today. And anyway, so it just sent chills through my spine, and the moment I hung up the phone, I wrote this song. Did anybody take her picture? I've heard a picture's worth 1,000 words, and I'd like to have just one more conversation, so I'll have to let a picture speak for her. I didn't know it was our last night together, the last time I'd see her alive. Side by side we watched that show together. But on that lonely road that night she died. Did anybody take her picture? I've heard a picture's worth 1,000 words, and I'd like to have just one more conversation. So I'll have to let a picture speak for her. I have only my memory to serve me, and remember the good times we've had. If only I'd taken her picture, I could speak to it and wouldn't feel so sad. Did anybody take her picture? I've heard a picture's worth 1,000 words, and I'd like to have just one more conversation. So I'll have to let a picture speak for her. Try the first half. I never thought to take her picture. In fact, it never once crossed my mind. But now that she has gone on forever, well, I think about it all of the time. Did anybody take her picture? I've heard a picture's worth 1,000 words, and I'd like to have just one more conversation. So I'll have to let a picture speak for her. Yeah, I'll just have to let a picture speak for her. I messed that up. I got off on the wrong chord the last thing there. So, stuff happens.
Yeah.
But anyway, he did come to our next show where I played that song, and he really was touched by it, and I gave him a copy of the song in a little frame. But we never did find a picture of his wife. Lay something on us here. By the way, we haven't practiced any of this, and it's really the first time Tim's played it at all. So, and we're doing it live. It's pretty bad to just do something.
It's a good thing it's low risk.
Well, they can't throw anything through the screen. That's the cool thing. There's no tomato stains or anything like that.
Protected from all the produce that could come this way. You wanna do the lead on a chorus for what was the first song I was doing?
Cabin Home on the Hill?
Yeah, you want to do the lead? I was a tenor on that.
I think so.
Try that. Let's see. Tonight I'm alone without you, my dear. It seems there's a longing for you still. All I have to do now is sit alone and cry in our little cabin home on the hill. Oh, someone has taken you from me and left me here all alone. Just listen to the rain beat on my window pane in our little cabin home on the hill. Well, I hope you are happy tonight as you are. In my heart there's a longing for you still. I'll just keep it there so I won't be alone in our little cabin home on the hill. Oh, someone has taken you from me and left me here all alone. Just listen to the rain beat on my window pane in our little cabin home on the hill. come to the end of the way and find there's no more happiness for you, just let your thoughts turn back once more, if you will, to our little cabin home on the hill. Oh, someone has taken you from me and left me here all alone. Just listen to the rain beat on my window pane in our little cabin home on the hill. In our little cabin home on the hill.
Just like we practiced it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know I was singing a lead on that one until we sang
Yeah.
it.
So I just looked at him and said, "Can you do the lead on that part?" Ben Boyd asked if this guitar was as comfortable to play as I make it appear. Well, if I make it appear, it's only because of the guitar. I'll tell you that much. It is a really nice guitar. It plays very well. So
It's a really good guitar. I promise you, I wouldn't lead you astray.
No,
it's a
it's-
nice guitar. And
it's
it was
really nice.
flawless except for the little dent I put in the back of it. And I'm so upset about that. I still can't hardly think about it. It just kills me.
luckily, you have to hold it just in the right light and be looking for it to really see it. So
Yeah, it's not a bad crack or nothing. It's just a little dent, but it just sucks that I put it in there.
And if you're holding the guitar as you should be all the time anyway, playing it, then you don't see it anyway.
Yeah, you never see it that way. But anyway, it is a good guitar. It's a good sounding guitar. It plays good. It looks good. It's from the custom shop. It's not your off the rack standard instrument. There's a custom shop booklet that comes with it as well. Let's see here.
I saw our friend Gary Boer said hello this morning from East Tennessee. Hello,
yeah,
Gary.
Gary, he's been a great supporter. He's a wonderful guy. And yeah, Tim saw one of his CDs. I still have one of the CDs laying down there in my shop, and all the rest of them I've given away. He had sent them to me to give away to friends and people that watch our shows and stuff, and I really did appreciate that.
Yeah, I get to pick with Gary occasionally back in Tennessee. So
Well, he's a fine musician. His family is
Oh, yeah.
really good. That
Oh, yeah.
CD is killer. If you don't have Gary Brewer's CD, you might look out there and see if you can find it. It might be available. I don't know if it is online or not, but I would check around and see if you could get it. Let's see. Let's do a little Father of Bluegrass. I think that last song was kind of a pivot pattern, meaning that it pivots around the one, and this one is definitely a pivot pattern. It'll so in other words, it's going to go 1 4 1 5 1 4 1 5 type of thing like that. And in this case, we're in G, so the 4 is your C, and your 5 is your D. So here we go. Bill Monroe is the father of bluegrass. He's the one that gave us all this joy. He picked up an old Gibson mandolin and he formed a band called the Bluegrass Boys. He's known far and wide for his pickin'. We've all tried to copy his style. And now for those of you who'd like to hear it, well, here's old JR to give it a try. Well, old Bill is really getting up there, but his music's as fresh as can be. And someday he'll pick up in heaven, then we'll all hear that mandolin ring. So next time you're out in the evening, look and see if that old moon is blue. And if it is, you'll know Bill is happy, 'cause he'll be picking some old bluegrass tune. How about it, Tim? Did you hear that guitar ring? Don't you love to hear Bill sing? That old bluegrass sound makes me smile. And while I'm on this earth, I'm gonna pick for all I'm worth before I'm picking in that sweet by and by. don't you love to hear Bill sing? That old bluegrass sound makes me smile. And while I'm on this earth, I'm gonna pick for all I'm worth before I'm picking in that sweet by and by. Anyway, just another tune there that you can demonstrate that song pattern of pivoting around the one. There's several different kinds of song patterns, not to be confused with the chord patterns that we've been talking about. The song patterns are, they come from the songwriter, if you will. And the chord patterns, those are musically based in terms of understanding the music itself. But, I just, and the patterns, they're based on the mandolin neck directly, and is what I was really getting at with the chord patterns. So there's two different patterns on the mandolin neck, and that's really all you got to know. Once you learn those two patterns, and then start to get familiar with the different song patterns, it's piece of cake. There's really not much to it. Let's see. How about you do another one?
By the way, did you see that Bill Monroe's old farm in Goodlettsville is for sale again? I think it's Goodlettsville.
Oh, really?
225 acres. If you want to buy a piece of bluegrass history, you can buy Bill Monroe's farm.
Is that the one? Does he have his cabin on that? Is that the one that has the cabin, or is that a different farm?
The cabin was in Kentucky, Rosine.
Oh, okay.
So, but he did have a very rustic home there in his farm. I remember all the bluegrass boys talked about. He bought this farm way back, and they all had to go there and work.
Well, I like Bill Monroe, but I've never really, been a history nut on his particular behalf. So.
I just happened to see that the other day. I saw a post that it was the whole farm, 225 acres is for sale. So it'll probably become apartments or condos or something.
More than
like
likely,
that.
Unfortunately.
No, we can do another old Bill Monroe song here. This is one I always call it touching love song. It's called "Stay Away from Me."
Oh yeah, perfect. We should do this on Valentine's.
Yeah, it's perfect for Valentine's Day. Stay away from me. You're causing me trouble. It's been that way since from the start. While you're away, there's another there waiting. Stay away from me. You're breaking my heart. Well, the sky is blue, the sun is shining, and the autumn leaves are turning brown. I love you so, but I can't have you. Stay away from me. Stay out of town. Stay away from me. I know what you're after. It's best if we stay far apart. You brought me pain, no joy, no laughter. Stay away from me. You're breaking my heart. Well, the sky is blue, the sun is shining, and the autumn leaves are turning brown. I love you so, but I can't have you. Stay away from me. Stay out of town. Well, the sky is blue, sun is shining, and the autumn leaves are turning brown. I love you so, but I can't have you. Stay away from me. Stay out of town. Stay away from me. Stay out of town.
Good job. That's a good old tune. I never
That's
really
funny.
have ever done that song.
I always laugh when I do that, though. That's just what a touching tribute.
Yeah. No, that was another good example of another pivot pattern, song. And, I'm not saying there's only two patterns of songs. That's not what I'm saying. But those are two really common patterns. It's the pivot pattern and the circle pattern, where you just go in a circle, like Blue Ridge Mountain Home. You just G, C, D, G, C, D, G, C, D. And I'll just do just a short little bit of that. There's a well-beaten path on this old mountainside where I wandered when I was a lad. And I wandered alone to the place I call home, in those Blue Ridge hills far away. Oh, I love those hills of our Virginia. From those Blue Ridge hills I did roam. When I die, won't you bear me on the mountain, far away in my Blue Ridge mountain home. So there's a perfect circle pattern. It just goes in a circle. It doesn't do anything but that. It doesn't alternate. Now, so those are what I'm going to talk about tonight. We're going to demonstrate those kinds of patterns. We're going to demonstrate the 2-chord songs, and then we're going to talk about the Nashville number rules that apply to those songs. And we might go further than that, and we might, depending on your questions that you ask, we'll try to address anything that comes up this evening. By the way, and while we were on that copyright issue, I forgot to mention to you, if you guys remember just a few days ago, I showed my daughter Rochelle's work that she did on the dresser. And, I was bragging on her little video clip that she put in there, and how well she edited it and put the music to it. And the music is really what made the clip, I have to admit. Well, I had to take the music out of it. I had to cut the music out of that because they struck the video, and and they would not allow the video to be monetized. And I thought, well, this is how I make my living. So I cut the little piece out where the music was. That's what I'm talking about, how sad it is. So, even though it was only, I think, 15 seconds long, to a 40-minute video, it rules. That's what rules. And it's the common sense aspect. There's no common sense applied. It's just, I don't know, it's just arbitrary.
Well, common sense,
Yeah, it's out.
It ain't common.
It's out the window.
Everybody's after $1, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I think we
That's
can
good.
Call that good for now. I'm going to lay this down here for the moment.
I'm gonna put this over
Yeah, you can put it in that case if you don't mind. Let's go through some comments here and see what we've got. And I'll start scrolling back up to the top. We got a lot of comments this morning. Looks like 129 viewers at the moment. I guess the fact that I threatened live music on the title put it way down in the numbers, because we usually have 160 or 180. Anyway. No, I don't think it was your fault. It's just the fact that I mentioned I was going to sing. Dottie Hildebrand says, she's talking to Carolyn there. Let's see, I'm looking for question marks again. Carolyn Fike says, question for Tim Carter. Have you heard of how Kathy May is doing in her battle with cancer?
Yeah, Kathy May.
She's a wonderful choral director.
Haven't heard anything else about her. She seems to be still holding her own against it. So thanks for asking, though.
Yeah, it's a bad deal. We've got a couple of friends right now. One of them just passed away with cancer just recently, and another one is dying. Well, and Emery's father is very close to death. I'm not sure if he's there yet or not. I haven't heard today yet. Dottie Hildebrand, how about a chirp or two from Jerry and Tim? Well, we kind of covered that, I think.
We did more than enough.
I'm not sure I did any chirping today. I think I did more like crow calling.
That's a heap and helping, as they would say.
The Freeze, what's up with those bald-faced hornets this year? And it says, Mom has 2 on her house right now. I've never seen them on houses before. Yeah. Well, they do grow or build on the buildings here a lot. It's very common, actually. And I called that bald-faced hornets, and I'm pretty sure that's what they were. But a yellow jacket will make a paper nest like that. Also, it looks very similar. Generally, not that exact same shape. It's a little more blasé shape, but the paper looks the same. But yellow jackets will also build on the side of buildings, and in any crevice and crack, and they also build in the ground. There's yellow jackets that build just about anywhere that they can get out of the weather, and they look a lot the same in terms of the paper, at least. Let's see. The Freeze says Andes. I guess he was adding something to his comment up there.
He has a follow-up below there. He says his phone keeps sending messages before he's ready to send them or something. I can't remember.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, James copies. Thanks for the concern on the hurricane. Yeah, that's gotten pretty bad. I did see something humorous that came out of it, sort of. I mean, it's not really funny in one way, but it was funny the way the guy took it, and that is that he put signs on his truck, like for sale. After the tree fell on top of it, it crushed it big time. And he put photo ops. I forget. It was really funny, the lines that he wrote and put on the truck. So I don't know. It's out on YouTube if you want to see it. But it was very humorous. He was just laughing to keep from crying, I think. Dottie Hildebrandt. Let's see. Referring, I think he's talking in private conversation again. David Tharp, me and Superman have a lot in common. He has supervision, and I need supervision.
Yeah, amen. Ain't it the truth?
Yeah, that one there, I think I could kind of ditto on that one. James Copy, 2.26 million customers do not have power as of today from the hurricane. Wow. Yeah, that's sad. That's really sad. I'm sure there'll be a lot of electric crews from all over the states heading that way to try to help out. Let's see. Moving down. Ben Boyd, Jerry, I found that I tend to rest my strumming palm on strings behind the saddle as I rhythm chop. Is that a bad idea? Well, I would say that having it close to your strings is a good thing, but resting it on there is definitely probably going to mute it to some degree. I mean, it's not the best option. I would try to learn to, I know some people do that so they can find their place. So it kind of anchors them in place. But I'd recommend that you try to not build that habit. I would recommend that you try to keep your strumming hand loose and available, if you will, I guess, not have it stuck to anything. Although I know a lot of people do it and they're successful with it, but that's not how I would recommend.
It seems like it would have to deaden the vibration of the top.
It's got to
a little at least, and if that's the whole goal is to have it vibrate as much as possible, then it just makes sense that you're not getting the full volume from it.
Right. Yeah, I mean, and some people go so far as to put those wire cages on the back of their mandolin to hold them off their chest. Well, I don't do that. I hold mine at an angle anyway, so only the very edge of the mandolin is touching me. The rest of the whole back is, that's just the style I play. It's just how I've learned to hold it. But, depends on how you hold it, I guess. David Tharp, I think I've figured out what's wrong with my brain. On the left side, nothing is right, and there's nothing left on the right side. Yeah, that's funny.
That could be true of all of us, I guess.
Yeah. I've
universal.
I've always refused X-rays on the brain. I just won't let them do it.
I think I saw earlier David had posted he went for an MRI on his head and nothing was there. They found nothing.
They found nothing. Yeah, there you go. There it is right there.
They didn't find anything, yeah.
Gary Cooper, it's only money. Okay.
Christia Thomason's birthday is today.
Oh, yeah?
I just happened to see her. She didn't put question marks. I just happened to see it there.
It is? It's her birthday?
Mm-hmm.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Christia. Happy birthday to you.
That's 2 days in a row we've done that.
Harmony. That's pretty amazing.
Gary's talking about your rocks out there. It's only money.
Yeah, I guess that's what it is. Yeah. I see. I lose the context. It's tough for me.
I think he made that comment right after you had it in the video.
Yeah, probably did because I'm. By the time I get to it, the context is my problem, and I'm not good at reading and putting it together. It just kills me.
They say you can't take it with you, but I'd like to have it for a little while anyway.
Yeah. Just enough to get to dinner anyway.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Gary.
Mighty fine chirp, she said. Well, thank you. James Copy, we have copyright issues at our open mics.
Absolutely.
I sing Celtic songs, and so far so good. Yeah, it's a mess. Gary Hayes, West Virginia. You hear your songs as any.
Just as soon hear your songs.
Okay,
Yep.
all right. Well,
He likes your music.
Well,
so.
thank you, Gary. I appreciate that.
As any others, your originals are right there.
Well, thank you. Ben Boyd, Tim, is that 0018 guitar really as good and comfortable as you make it? Yeah,
Yes,
the
we
comment
talked
you
about that.
talked about that
Absolutely,
one.
Yeah.
Dottie Hilbrand, Tim can sing. Jerry and Tim make a good team. Well, he's thinking he's going to move here on the farm, and we're going to put him to work, and he's going to be the new caretaker, and then we can sing together.
There we go.
Jeffrey, except that he's got a little bit of too many irons in the fire for that, so we're just kidding, obviously, because some people always take stuff like that serious.
Yeah, they'll be asking when I'm moving.
Yeah. Let's see. Jeffrey says, great job. We enjoy the lessons. Well, thanks. It scrolled on me. Where did it go? You'll have to help me find it.
Yeah, it's right down just a little bit more, I think, Jerry. Great
Okay,
job.
here, okay. It's hard for me to
there's
find.
Gary
it.
Hayden right there. I think that was where you were.
Yeah. Good picking and singing from Gary Hayden. Thanks. Dottie says, Jerry, you would make Bill Monroe proud. Well, I don't know about that exactly.
That'd be hard to do.
Bill Monroe would probably say to me, he ain't no part of nothing.
Yeah.
It's pretty much
Bill,
what he
Bill
said.
was a tough critic.
He really was. He was a very tough guy. I met him 2 or 3 times because of my Uncle Don. My Uncle Don knew him really well. Went to his place, and picked with Bill a lot of different times, actually. He was invited to Bill's house a lot. But, he's a tough man. There's lots of stories about Bill Monroe, just lots of them. What was the one story Ricky Skaggs tells about the ham or something? It says, you can't ruin ham. Or
Yeah, they were riding along in the car and hadn't eaten in a long time, and they were talking about being hungry, and Bill was in the back, and it was somebody else. It was back when Bill was on the road with his band, but one of the band members told the story and said that Bill said, "Well, hand me that ham. You can't hurt ham." It had a ham that had been in the car for. It had a ham that had been in there for I don't know how long.
Yeah, it's probably
you can't hurt ham.
It was a week old in the sun.
And Ricky wrote a song called "You Can't Hurt Ham."
Yeah, that's right.
Ben Boyd asked a question up there. Tim is very comfortable in front of a mic and camera. What is his profession? I'm a college professor, believe it or not, and I had a radio show for a while. Jerry and I have a very similar background in that regard. I took over a radio show for a fellow who had to retire or had to back out. Ultimately, he had cancer, so he ended up not being able to get back to it. But did that for a while, and I've done a lot of speaking in front of a lot of people. So cameras and playing music on a stage and that type of thing don't really, you just talk like you're talking to your friends somewhere. It's all right. It works out. It works out fine.
That's what you have to do. You just have. In my mind, I'm literally having a conversation with whoever's out there.
Sure.
I feel like like the video camera here to me is just you all. It's an individual person. Gary Hayden says, Tim, I was in the Air Force with an Eisen.
From Gray, Tennessee.
Gray.
Eisen is a surname, and then Sapp from Greenville.
Oh,
I was in the Air Force as well, Gary, and I don't know any Eisens particularly, but I've known a few Sapps. Both literal and figurative, I guess.
Yeah. Sidecar Bob says almost 100 millimeters of rain yesterday. Records for the date were set all over Ontario.
How much is 100 millimeters in American?
It's about 4 inches, isn't it? Be about 4 inches.
I think so.
I'm not perfect with my millimeter and inch conversions, but I think it's got to be close to that.
I'm good at Celsius and Fahrenheit conversions. I've got that down. But
I don't have that at all. I don't have that one at all. Well, maybe we would make a good team. You can work on the weather, and I'll work on the measurements.
There we go.
Let's see. moving on down, there's a username there that's in some sort of a script I've never seen before.
Randall from Florida, I think is what it says. Randall from Florida.
Oh,
It's hard to see, but
yeah,
I think
I couldn't make that name out very well. I love watching the whole footage of Ricky Skaggs when he played with Dr. Ralph Stanley, the Stanley brothers from the same little town that his mama's from. Well, that's cool.
Yeah.
Well, let's see. I don't see. Well, I got one question down here at the bottom. Scott Roberts, a professor with a sharp sense of humor. Yeah, well, that's a good thing. I went to night school for 18 years. Got to meet a lot of professors, if you will. Or at least they were professing something. I don't know.
They were purported to be professors.
Yeah, exactly. I think a lot of the night school professors are those folks that didn't quite make it in the real world, and they're doing that job, because it's like, what was it? One of my professors actually did say this. He says, most of your college professors like this, he said, are failures in the business world. And we're teaching these business classes because we didn't make it in the business world, so we had to go to teaching.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's pretty much what he said.
It's a fallback.
He just kind of...
Or they're retired. I know some people who've been in business and they retire and they come back. And night school is almost a thing of the past anymore because everything has moved online. So.
Yeah.
I taught part-time. I worked in business for a number of years and taught at night part-time for a long time.
Yeah.
And so I wouldn't say I failed at business, but I decided to give up business ultimately and move into teaching.
Technically not.
Yeah, and I have a small business of my own. So
Yeah, he's got a... tell him about it. Tell him what your business is.
I see a note there said, Jerry, it was probably reform school.
Yeah, it probably was.
Oh, that's funny. Oh, we just have a small online business called Custom Parts Inc. Custom Parts Inc. And we sell repair parts for the old Troy-built horse tillers primarily. We sell trimmer, chainsaw parts and things like that, but mostly it's for the old tillers that are underserved by most dealerships today. So that's what we do. And Joan ends up running most of that. I set everything up and I handle the really tough stuff that she decides she doesn't want to deal with anymore, and it comes over to me. And then after I guess we've had the business now for 16, I think. We started it in 08, so
wow,
I had about 16 years, and it's it does okay. So so far we still pay the bills. That's what counts.
Yep, that's good. I think we're at the end here. Let me just tell you what my plans are for today. I'm going to ship out some products for Cometa Systems. You were
just talking about that the other day. You didn't know if he needed you anymore.
Yeah, and
he does.
He sent me some stuff. So I've got 2 shipments to ship back out for Cometa Systems. He made the comment in his email that they really haven't had any luck in the U.S. this year. He says the company is doing really well all over the world, but not so much in the U.S. And so anyway, it's his second shipment. Well, it's his first shipment this year, I think. And anyway, in case you don't know what Cometa Systems is, which I'm sure you probably don't, it's a biofeedback type system where you can attach the things to a person, like an athlete, the electrodes, and it's a wireless transmission, and his is the only system, at least it used to be, and I assume it still is, it's the only system that works underwater. In other words, you can attach it to swimmers and get biofeedback from swimmers too. So it's pretty cool. And that was pretty much invented by his father. And his father passed away, and so Matteo took that over. And Matteo, for those of you who don't know, was my exchange student that stayed with us from Italy here on the farm back in the very early 2000s.
Awesome.
Let's see. I'm also going to prepare for the training this evening after I get those other things shipped out. And I'm also going to try to move the recent lumber that I sawed, the cedar. I'm going to try to move that and stack it better into the actual shop where it's air conditioned. That'll help it dry a little bit faster. It actually dries pretty quick in the shop. I'm kind of surprised how fast that happens. So anyway, I'm going to try to do those things today. I don't see any more questions down there. Or is that one a new one?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a new one there.
What does it say?
It says, Tim, there's a fellow DJ in Oregon you need to talk to, a real history buff, Susan Massey. I'll check that out, Scott. Thank you.
Well,
Scott
that's going to
Roberts.
be it, guys. Thanks so much for being here. We will see you tomorrow with, well, I'll see you tonight with the lesson, and we'll see you tomorrow with another vlog.